You're listening to the Productive Not Busy podcast, where our mission is to make you more money so you'll have less stress and more free time. It's all about mindset, attitude, and taking action. And your host, Wayne Weathersby, knows how to make that happen. He's negotiated and closed over $150 million in contracts while building businesses with proven success strategies that he wants to share with you. So if you're ready to make some real money, then let's get to it. Here's Coach Wayne.
What's happening, guys? Hey, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but this show is unscripted and unedited. I challenged myself when I first started this podcast. I wanted to start a podcast with absolutely zero money. So I found a free app. I found a free microphone, and I figured it out. And believe it or not, all of what you're hearing is on free stuff, no fancy equipment. It can be done. And how I get my subjects are, I spent years and years journaling. I've always been in the corporate world or building businesses, even the music industry. I built a business in a band. And all of those principles worked exactly the same way as building a car dealership or building a real estate business or building a coaching business. So what I do is I take my old journals out. I use some of those as scripts. And then I've got the fishbowl. And the fishbowl is I'll just write down different quotes that I hear or different ideas. Example, it's what you learn after you know it all. And I'll write that down and I'll throw it in a jar. And after I've got a big wad of ideas in there, what I do is to give you fair, honest, and upfront life experience information to help you make more money, have less stress, have more free time, build better businesses, build better lives, better attitude, is I'll pull one of those ideas out of the fishbowl. And I'm going to do that today. And I am going to pull one out as we speak. And it says, it's a Winston Churchill, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. So looks like we're talking about attitude today. So hang on. Unscripted, unedited, here we go. So today, we're going to wing it on attitude. So we're going to talk about what is an attitude, types of goals, and how those attitudes will help you achieve those. Methods on how to change your attitude if you have a bad one, some attitude limits, how it limits your success, how it ensures your success, right? They say attitudes are contagious. So if you're going to catch something, catch a good attitude. So to me, your attitude strongly influences what you can accomplish in life, bar none. When you learn about this relationship, you can set yourself up to more easily achieve anything, any goal, any life goal. So in this episode, we'll go over how best to use your attitude to serve you. And of course, different goals, likely they require different attitudes. Because of this, you may find it useful to examine some possible perspectives required for success in various areas of your life before you get started. So we'll also talk about how approaches that can be used to most benefit you in some common situations. As you learn about different attitudes and how they can be used to maximize your success, you can create an attitude that will ultimately guide you towards your goals and expectations. Remember, I pulled this piece of paper out of the fishbowl and it said, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. And we're going to roll with it. Let's wing it. So what is an attitude? Let me think. Your attitude, to me, is your approach to life. It makes up a mindset, beliefs, and feelings. That's what it's made up of. And those lead you to make choices, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. To me, our attitudes are often subconscious. They're driven by things we learned in our childhood about ourselves and the world and other experiences that we've had, right? I've lived 3 lifetimes. I've got some crazy stories, and I had a different attitude during all of those. So knowing the difference between approaches that will propel you toward your goal and then the ones that will circumvent or sabotage your destination will help you to get what you want if you want to get there in life. Develop the right attitude and you'll go after your goals and dreams hardcore, man. No stopping you. Your attitude determines your aptitude, they say, right? So you've probably heard the expression attitude is everything. This is true. Attitude really does determine your likelihood of success when you're working towards a goal, plain and simple. It's like the recipe calling for milk. Without the milk, it ain't going to work. Right? You might find some substitutes, but it's just not going to be the same. So consider the following example. You're a professional, whatever. Let's use the Olympics, high jumper at a competition. You think to yourself, I'm never going to make it. It's way too high. I'm going to knock that bar down. I can't do it. Now, are you more or less likely to clear that jump with that attitude? See where I'm going with this? Some experts believe, on all the attitude stuff that I've studied, that when you tell yourself something, you invest your energy into making that happen, whether it's right, wrong, good or bad, or positive or negative. So therefore, in the high jump example, if you tell yourself you're not going to make it, your mind subconsciously sets you up and programs and wants you to be right. And you're more than likely going to frick that jump up. Okay. So if you were to say to yourself, I know I can do this. I've jumped high before and I can do it again. I'm going to freaking soar over that thing, man. I will successfully complete this jump. You'll do everything possible to make it happen. You'll be more likely to make that jump because you'll put your whole heart, mind, and effort, body, soul, everything to be right. If you believe something is impossible, you'll also avoid putting much effort into that situation, I promise. But if you believe in yourself and accept that many possibilities may occur, good, bad, ugly, negative, positive, you'll freely allow yourself to think positively. Then you'll apply yourself and likely have better outcome. Your attitude, in my opinion, determines whether you'll even consider that you may be able to even achieve the goal. In turn, you'll affect the energy that you invest into the situation. I don't care if it's a relationship, it's a high jump, if it's putting your shoes on to go for a run. Ultimately, it's a great predictor of success or failure, plain and simple. Right? There's, I've got another one written down here too. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. Right? I don't know who Mary Engelbright is, but I wrote it down. It was important to me at the moment I wrote it down. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. I dig it. I love that. So let's talk about types of goals. So you may have heard people talk about someone's bad attitude, right? This can sound like there's one specific good attitude that a person can have. But ultimately, the true test of your approach to life is how well it serves you. So what is the right attitude for you? The one that will help you accomplish your goal? And how do you find those positive perspectives within yourself? See, if your aspirations are to take on many different forms, you have overall life goals that often take years to achieve. I know I do. You might also be working on milestone goals, which you'll encounter at different points in your life. Many goals are created when you split a large objective into several smaller goals, right? So my yearly goals, I have a 90-day yearly goal. Those are my milestones to let me know if I'm on course or not, so I can course correct. So when I say mini goals, M-I-N-I, mini goals are created when you split a larger objective into several smaller goals, making it easier to work toward the primary intention, right? Your aspirations propel you forward in life. Common aspirations include seeking higher education, finding the perfect mate, finding a job, overcoming an obstacle in life, helping others, managing your money, living a healthy life. So I want you to take a second and what are you striving for? Like, what is your life goal? See, every thought is a seed. If you plant a certain, type of apple, you can't count on getting something different, right? If you plant corn and you were hoping for a wheat, it ain't going to happen. So furthering your education. Most people agree that seeking higher education is a wise thing to do. However, when it comes down to actually pursuing it, people stall almost all the time. I talk to people all the time. Oh, did you go to college? Yeah, for a term, for a semester, for a year. And most of them adopted the mindset, oh, I'll just do it later. And then they never do it. Others develop insecurities and the lack of confidence in pursuing more education for some reason. I'm not sure why. Everybody's got their reasons. And there's a segment of people who just flat out believe that education doesn't matter because even without that, they're going to work hard and make things happen. So, what type of attitude do you need to actually go after and achieve for additional education and training? You got to make education a priority. You have to believe getting your is more important than things in your life, right? You have to believe that getting yours is more important than other things in your life. Make it a priority if that's what you want to do. So read inspiring books about people who came from difficult backgrounds and still managed to get an education. I love that kind of history. I don't like the negative history. We know about the negative history. We know it existed, but it's called history. A lot of that stuff doesn't happen anymore. So nobody's holding you back. Attitude, effort, approach, mindset. Nobody is handing that to you at the door. Any background, any color, any physical form that you have. I mean, gosh, you see people with no arms, no legs that are inspirational speakers, for God's sake. They find a way to get it done. Find things about children in other countries who want nothing more than to go to school, something that we take for granted. Next, I want you to build your confidence. Another attitude related to education that can make it happen is building the confidence that you can do it. Give yourself a timeline, right? I'm going to go back and get my BA degree and I'm going to get it in 17 months, right? You got to put a consequence or a finish line to it. Tell yourself you'll be successful. Set up your workspace at home to make it conducive to reading, research, and study. Perhaps, prepare a spot that's the best for you to give you the best chance. Use visual imagery to build your confidence. I do that all the time. They call them vision boards. I like touch board. Touch board means that if I want a Ferrari, I'm not going to put a picture of it on my wall. I'm going to go to the Ferrari store and sit in it and smell it. Walk around it, touch it. Okay. So I'm going to find a relaxing chair and close my eyes. Imagine yourself walking into a class and being surrounded by all kinds of people with whom you share an instant bond with. Like you, they're there to get something new, to learn something. I learn every day. One of my favorite sayings. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts. I want you to sit back, visualize confidently taking notes in class, asking questions, and interacting with the professor and your classmates in self-assured manner, right? Be the confident one. And you got to know the facts. Many times you can just adjust your attitude simply by learning the facts about something. Show an eagerness to learn, right? Don't watch Fox, CNN, all that crap, because they're not giving you the whole story. They're giving you what you want. They want you to hear. And then you look stupid when you go out and try to have a conversation because you don't know what you're talking about. Find real information, right? If you want to aspire to be better, find real information about the salaries and lifestyles for people with or without the education that you're seeking. Avoid closing yourself off from the real facts. Instead, figure them out. Knowing the facts will propel you towards the right attitude to achieve your goal. I have one here on my yellow pad. I have legal pads everywhere. I have Sharpies everywhere. And on the top of this page, it says the impossible can always be broken down into possibilities. Again, I never write this stuff down on who said it, but the impossible can always be broken down into possibilities. All right. So let's say you're single. People say, oh, you're not an expert on that. I'm telling you, all of the stuff that I talk about can be applied to anything. This subject about finding a mate can be applied to flying an airplane. It's all the basic principles are all the same. It's taking action, it's attitude, it's mindset, it's approach. So this one, finding a mate, right? For many, eventually having a partner who brings light and joy into your life is incredibly important. When it comes to finding one, your attitude is integral into the process. If you ask me, you might even know someone who's dying to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband, yet tends to avoid going out to socialize. Oh, I'm not a people person. The person seems to lack self-love first. They might even take on the attitude that no one else will like me because I'm too much of this, fill in the blank. But on the flip side, some people who want a partner adopt the attitude that I'm freaking awesome. I just can't figure out why I'm not with somebody. So you see where I'm going with that? They're going to figure out that they know they're great and they just can't figure out why they're by themselves. So processing either of these attitudes about finding a life mate might hamper your efforts. So you got to cultivate mindsets to increase your chances of accomplishing your goals. If you feel less than positive about yourself, you may find it challenging to attract someone else who's like you or even not like you. So there's an attitude adjustment that will bring what you want when you recognize your own value, whatever that is. You got to take your personal inventory by pondering your strengths and your weaknesses and know what they are. So there you go. That statement right there. What did I say? Take your personal inventory by pondering your strengths and weaknesses. That could apply to a baseball player, a football player, an airline pilot, a surgeon, a singer in a band, a guitar player, right? You got to take personal inventory, what you're good at, what you're not good at. I want to exploit my strengths, not my weaknesses. So you got to put in the time and effort to develop your skills and your talents and your interests. When you do that, you're happier. And imagine that. Confidence follows close behind. If you ask me, that's my personal experience. Plus, you're exposed to others who love the same things that you do. When you surround yourself with a sphere of people that bring out the good in you, use the positive thinking to change your attitude by telling yourself, hey, man, I'm worth it. Let's make this happen. Instead, it's easy to stay in the box and blame everybody else. So take pride in you first. It took me a long time to do that for myself. I don't like me, man. I can't worry about what everybody else thinks. I'm going to be the best me. And lo and behold, here I am. So treating yourself well and valuing yourself and getting yourself right will show. I promise. This is very enticing and attractive quality that then will attract other people into your sphere. That then will create opportunities and connections. I want you to also be humble, right? You got to be humble and cultivate an interest in other people. It's not all about you. It's all about you at first, but you got to be a better you so that then you can cultivate interest in others and be genuine, right? Listen to learn, not just to respond. Although it's wonderful to have confidence and it's important for attracting others, I want you to truly know about others and see how they shine. You never know what you're going to learn. You never want to be the smartest guy in the room. You got to sharpen your listening skills. Make it a point to focus on what others are saying. Focus on the other person. Ask them questions. Comment positively on what they say. Keep it positive. Write down the affirmations that strike you. Right? If you have to, write down, I'm going to show interest and focus on other people today. Put it in your bathroom when you're brushing your teeth. Read it out loud. The key to that is like everything else I say, you got to take action on that. So if you're going to write that stuff down, then do it. Right? I have a friend that says that they found that if they love life, it's funny how life seems to love them back. I love that. So you can apply this to getting a job. Securing a position can be tough, especially in the best of times, right? Seeking work is a common goal that most people have had at different points in their lives, including myself. Your attitude about finding a job is pivotal to your capability to secure the position, whatever it is that you want. Some people have the belief that there just aren't any jobs right now, or no jobs are available right now that will pay me what I'm worth, whatever that means. These types of attitudes can ultimately prevent a person from doing everything they can to secure a job. You know, Chris Voss was an FBI negotiator, has a great book that you need to read. And he talks about doing things in a way that reframes your thinking. So, in other words, do it like they have your kids hostage, right? That's a little extreme, but really it's great thinking. His book, by the way, is called Never Split the Difference. Look it up, get it on Audible. It's freaking fantastic. Okay, so getting back to what we were talking about. After all, in my opinion, if there aren't any jobs or there aren't any that pay well, then why spend your time and energy trying to get a job in the freaking first place? Another less than positive attitude regarding job seeking that I hear a lot is the belief that you're not good enough to be hired or that other applicants will always win out for various reasons over you to secure the position. So you're just not going to try. This attitude shows a clear lack of, in my opinion, of self-confidence. And that'll freaking kill your job hunt. I promise. Right. So if you're trying to reach a new career status, I want you to review these positive approaches to getting a job. See where we go with this. It kind of just randomly grows. Be realistic. That's the number one thing I want you to adopt. It is what it is regarding finding a job. Recognize that, of course, there are many jobs out there just waiting for somebody to apply for them. So adjust your attitude by telling yourself that if the job market is tough, the vast majority of applicants will be less likely wanting to take less pay, with the idea that once they show management what they can do, they'll likely get raises. Then be optimistic. Use positive self-talk when it comes to changing your thoughts and feelings and beliefs about finding a job. Immediately arrest all the negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. So, for example, when you think there are no jobs out there, tell yourself to stop thinking this way. Then replace that thought with a more positive, realistic one. Whatever. Of course, there are jobs available. They're listed online and in the paper, and I'm going to get one. That'll help boost your confidence rather than telling yourself you aren't good enough. Know your actual career strengths. Inventory your job skills. List all your work, education, abilities, talents. Right? Put your resume together. Reread your complete resume if you already have one, and see if it'll help you recognize your strengths and weaknesses that you possess. Also, use positive self-talk to give yourself a lift. When it comes to your attitude, keeping in mind that what we think, we create. So your mindset and attitude are powerful tools that will either interrupt your effort or propel you towards success when you're looking for work. Okay? Now, I want to talk about overcoming challenges as well. And we're going to talk about that on the next episode. So it's kind of semi around the same path. We're just going to save that, and we're going to talk about overcoming challenges in our next episode. I hope you guys have a great day. Be safe, take care, sell a bunch, and say something nice to somebody.
You've been listening to the Productive Not Busy podcast with Coach Wayne. Join us next time for more money-making strategies to help you have less stress and more free time. Follow us on Facebook at Productive Not Busy, on Instagram at frontline.coach.wayne, and on Twitter at Wayne New Jr. And remember, be productive, not busy.
Hey, before we get the show started, I just want to say thanks to some of our sponsors. First of all, I'd like to thank Ohana Guitar Company. See, Ohana Guitar Company is a custom guitar shop with skillfully handcrafted guitars you've been looking for. Ohana features a full array of guitars, from customization set by your unique standards or traditional designs and features that you already know and love. Ohana Guitar Company uses classic tone woods for everything from the body throughout the neck and fretboard. Telecaster, Stratocaster styles are also available in addition to skillfully handmade small batch one-of-a-kind guitars. You can visit them at www.ohanaguitarcompany.com and connect with them on Twitter and Instagram at Ohana Guitar Co. We're looking forward to making Ohana a part of your guitar family and our podcast family for a long time.